Yo, we are back. Hello, and welcome to the Heroes Havens podcast. I'm Jake, and thank you for joining in. I have some news, not news really. I'm just gonna kind of be talking about what we got going on today, why I missed last week, and responsibilities I kind of have moving forward because I need to hold myself accountable and not let I can't be missing weeks. I want to take this seriously. And several people actually reached out at midnight and were like, where it at? And to those people, you know who you are. I appreciate you. It means a lot that you guys are even invested and interested in this and all. So it was I felt bad, but at the same time, it gave me some like, all right, I should be doing this. And, yeah. So what we got going on today, going to be talking about, like I said, what happened last week. And then we're going to be talking about Star Wars Starfighter, which is the brand new movie directed by Sean Levy in the Star Wars universe. Going to be talking about that. I was going to just get into it. Sorry. I guess it's been a while. Also going to be talking about the James Gunn tweet, the infamous James Gunn tweet talking about Men of Tomorrow. I have a lot of things to say about that. Going to be going over Peacemaker. Going to be talking about the comic books that I promised you guys. I owe you guys two. And and then we're going to get into what we got going on next week. But before getting ahead of myself, I kind of want to talk about why I missed last week. And the truth is there was no real reason. I just misscheduled a lot of things, and I didn't give myself any time to do this for you guys, for myself, and that won't happen again. I will take accountability and say I messed up. That's on me, but it is what it is. No looking backwards. It felt amazing though, seeing those several people that reached out and were like, "Hey, where's this at?" Because granted, they're like all my friends, but like the support that I felt was just like, yes, like, thank you. So, like I said, you know who you are, but I mean, it really does mean a lot. It made me want to like snap out of whatever I had going on and just get back to doing this, like I need to be accountable and I need to schedule myself better and treat myself like a business. And that's what I plan to do from here on out. So I apologize. Won't happen again. But Star Wars Starfighter. I'm so excited. I'm beyond excited. I think that let's talk about it a little bit. I guess I shouldn't just get into it why I'm excited. So it takes place 5 years after Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, I couldn't even tell you what happens in that movie. To be honest, I am a huge Star Wars fan, but I kind of just retconned the new trilogy. So maybe next week I could even talk about 7, 8, 9 just as a collective and rewatch everything and kind of regather my thoughts on the trilogy. Because as you can tell, I'm not a fan. I don't think anyone is. But it takes place 5 years after Rise of Skywalker, so Palpatine is officially dead again. Main character, Ryan Gosling. He is a fighter pilot who was in the New Republic. And there's a kid. That's kind of all I know. It's some like, not bounty movie, but it's got to deliver a kid. I don't think it's a bounty movie. I think the kid is more important from what I've seen. Not much information is out. We do have this one image I'm going to kind of put somewhere. I'm kind of going back and forth. I don't know what I like. It all looks the same. So I'm going to talk about our cast here because the casting in this movie is absolutely insane. I'm a diehard Ryan Gosling fan. If you know me, and I've said this before, I think he's hilarious. Like, I think his acting doesn't get enough credibility because of how good looking he is. I think he was typecasted for a long time, just being this like good looking kind of dude. But I mean, with like Crazy Stupid Love, The Nice Guys, The Fall Guy, and then you have I actually didn't watch the movie he did. I think it was Ad Astra. Dang, that's kind of crazy. I'm like trying to gas him up, and I'm just wow. But his acting is phenomenal. I mean, The Notebook. You know, he does the serious stuff, he does the comedy stuff, and he does it all well. And he started to use his La La Land. Oh my God, I forgot La La Land. I'm insane. But you know, he's like used his body to get ahead, and like kudos to him. You know, if I was Ryan Gosling, I would do the same thing. I'm not Ryan Gosling, and I know that, so don't attack me. But okay, let's get into the cast. So we have Ryan Gosling, we have Flynn Gray. I've never seen anything Flynn Gray has done. He is the kid that I'm referring to. Let me look how old he is. I don't think he could be older than 14. He is 14. Okay, so he is an Irish teen actor. I IMDb'd some of his stuff. I've never seen it, so I don't have any information. Very hopeful, you know. Kids these days are absolutely insane. I mean, the talent is just, you know, and that comes from like people in my generation having kids, maybe a little bit older, but you know, they're like the young parents are the ones that are like, this is what we need to survive in today's world. So they're like starting them young, you know, like these kids are being taught from such a young age, like, hey, we're going to get you in acting classes. Hey, we're going to get you in dancing classes, ballet, like sports, you know, like there's like a meme going around, was going around during the World Cup, but like Project Mbappe, you know? And like, I'd like to say, like, if I do ever have kids, like, you know, like I want to pick something and choose them to be the best at it. I think that's what every parent kind of wants, you know, like to find out what they want. And that's where maybe that line gets crossed, because it's like the kids aren't choosing what they want. The parents are pushing it on them to where then they like grow up into it, which I don't think is bad, by the way. But you know, their parents are kind of like dictating what their lifestyle is going to be before they can even make coherent thought, before the baby's born, you know, before anything. So very hopeful. Kids are talented, and yeah. So then we have Mia Goth and Matt Smith, who are portrayed as the villains. The rumor is, so Matt Smith, obviously Daemon Targaryen, Doctor Who. I have nothing but great things to say about Matt Smith. I heard he had a movie just come out, Caught Stealing. I heard the movie didn't do well with Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith. Might check it out, might not. I'm not sure. I want to develop my own opinion, but I've also already seen and heard things to the point where I don't think it's worth checking out. But, you know, if that's something you guys want, let me know, and I will check it out, obviously. Then we have Amy Adams, Arrival, one of my unofficial honorable mentions for greatest movie ever. Amy Adams, also Lois Lane in Man of Steel. Phenomenal actor, award winner. What more can you say? And then we have Amy Adams. Yeah, I said that. Aaron Pierre, who is playing Jon Stewart in the Lanterns spinoff series. Super duper excited for that. Superhero and then Star Wars. Aaron Pierre's living the life I want to live, and I think that's amazing. Good for him. Congratulations. Yeah, we don't know what Aaron Pierre's role is yet, but then we also have Daniel Ings, Jamel Westman, and I don't personally know who Daniel Ings is or Jamel Weston, but that cast is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't tell you how many awards are accommodated in all of those actors right there, but it's just like, we have the names for the movie. Now, do we have the script? And do we have the direction? Obviously, post-Disney, Star Wars has been very, very abysmal outside of Andor, outside of the last season of Clone Wars, which I truthfully have not watched. Everyone that I know that I respect as people who have validated kind of like Star Wars opinions, love it. It's their favorite thing, and good for them. I just didn't have the time. I don't want to say that. I put watching other things above the Clone Wars, and I will at one point get to it. Currently doing the One Piece grind right now, so pray for me. But yeah, the cast looks amazing. It's directed by Sean Levy, who did Deadpool and Wolverine, who did Free Guy and the Night at the Museum movies. And truthfully, like, I don't know if I'm excited for that. I thought Free Guy was pointless. I got a couple like, I don't know, you heard that. It's a little ASMR for you. Like, it got a couple like nose breaths out of me, but I didn't think it was that funny. The plot of the movie was cool, but it was a movie targeted for nostalgia bait with a story that catered to kids. And I feel like we're losing the plot. If you know me, and I am actually going to spoil something myself, so if you see this will be talked about next week. Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought it's one of my top 5 least favorite Marvel movies. Maybe. I haven't actually made that list, but also spoiler. Next week we're talking about that. That's kind of what I was referring to. Spoiler to the spoiler. I realized I didn't say that. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine. That movie is just nostalgia bait. The story is stupid. The story is pointless. Wolverine has had worse things happen to him in his X-Men universe than him. No, okay, that's a lie. That's a lie. He has not. But like Deadpool and Wolverine was so dumb. Outside of cool cameos that you go, oh, like that was, it's Channing Tatum. If you haven't seen it, that's on you. That's not on me. The Deadpool dance was the best part of the movie. Cool. After 5 minutes, the rest of the movie is so unoriginal. I don't care about anything. They wasted a lot of characters. Cassandra Nova kind of like Giga nerfs herself by waiting. It's stupid. Waste of a phenomenal character. Cassandra Nova in the comics is wow. But, it's like, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sean Levy. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. His movies look great, and I appreciate that. And with the Star Wars movie, that's amazing. Then he also did the Night at the Museum movies, and I loved those as a kid. But what I'm worried about is these movies are made for kids. And Star Wars, like, I don't want to be extreme, which is what I'm known for. But like, if they mess this up, I think that's it for me. I think I just lose all hype for anything Star Wars, for anything coming out, for the future of Star Wars. I just probably won't care. It sucks. It sucks to say that, but it's true. Like, we can't keep having bad movie after bad movie. And I actually saw this on a Twitter thread, but Star Wars movies have all been about a child like being escaped as cargo. And I'm kind of over that. Everyone's over that. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked once, actually. Yeah, like, that sucks to say, but we just need some originality. And it's so weird to me how many characters there are, how many stories there are, how many different galaxies and universes and not universes, but worlds and planets and like systems, life forms we have, and we kind of keep doing the same thing. I actually don't understand it at all. But it's, I'm talking myself down when I'm actually excited for this movie. So, like, let me take a step back. Let me tell you, this is supposed to be, like I said before, it's a Starfighter pilot. And if you know me, I love Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 1. My favorite game mode was Starfighter Assault. Like, I was top 100 in the world I was top 100 on the PlayStation 4 in Battlefront 1 for a very long time in Starfighter Assault. My favorite game mode. I loved flying all the X-Wings and the Y-Wings and the A-Wings and the TIE Fighters, and I could go on. But, like, Ryan Gosling is a Starfighter pilot. Again, something, Maverick. Like, that is something I wanted to do. I think it's a little late for me to be a fighter pilot. Regardless, I was a kid. So it's like, I'm really excited. They just need to branch out from what they've done and really explore and tap into like their identity as Star Wars. I really do think this is last chance for a lot of people. And another W that I realized right now I haven't gone over is their cinematographer, Claudio Miranda, cinematographer, who arguably is my favorite cinematographer ever. Maybe. His last 3 movies are F1, Top Gun Maverick, and what was the other one? Tron Legacy. Not last 3 movies, but his like 3 most highlighted movies are Tron Legacy. Those are 3 of the most beautiful films ever done. F1 was done with real Formula One cars. Top Gun Maverick, you got Tom Cruise. Everything's real. So it's really, they're doing everything right in preparation. We just have to execute. Is it possible? Yes. Do I have hope? Yes. The rebellion was built on hope. Am I going to hold my breath? No. Would I be surprised if Disney let me down? No. I've seen them fumble names like this before. I've seen them fumble, not cast, crew. I don't want to say crew because I believe the crew is more than just a crew, but like cinematographers and music composers. I've seen them fumble before, but they need something strong. There's been a void and they need something strong to really re-identify who they are and what got everyone to fall in love with Star Wars back in the 70s. And, that's kind of, we have Claudio Miranda. Let's use him. Let's rely on him. The actors we know can act. If this movie flops, I mean, it's Sean Levy's fault. You can't have an original story like this with actors like this, with crew like this, and make a bad movie. Like, this is Sean Levy's, it's on his shoulders. And I think we need a mature film. I don't think we need another child film. And it's like, it's Disney. Are we doomed? I'm like really going through everything and I feel like we're doomed. Yeah, that is sad. Wow. I didn't realize how depressed I actually was about this film. I was so excited. Going into this, I thought I was going to be nothing but rainbows and sunshines. I'm terrified. I really want Star Wars to succeed. I think it's just an incredible part of my life. And this is sad. But next we have the James Gunn tweet. I'm going to put right here, Men of Tomorrow coming out. Oh, I didn't write down the date. Oh, what was it? It was July 27th. That's my guess. I'm so sorry. Men of Tomorrow. It is going to be the 4th film in the DCEU. Gosh, I'm so done. I'm dumb. I don't know. It's coming out the same week as Spider-Verse. It is coming out 2 months, 3 months before. I know it's September. I want to say September 27th. No, that's not September. That's 9. It's coming out July 27th. I'm sorry. So yeah, 3 months before Batman 2. This movie is going to be written by Matt Reeves. What? Matt Reeves is directing the Batman Part 2. As you know, the Batman Part 2, Pat Bat, is not a part of the DCEU yet. We don't know. So here's what the DCEU has had for us so far. Not so far, but from this point up until that movie. When that movie comes out next year, 2026, yeah. No, is it next year? 2027. I apologize. Very sorry. Here's what we will have had. Superman. And this is movies. Superman, Supergirl, Clayface, Men of Tomorrow. James Gunn on Twitter was very clear. This is not Superman 2. This is a movie where Superman is a key character He will be in the movie. He is not a main character, as what he said. I don't know. I think we are riding the coat. I think Pat Bat being a thing and Matt Reeves having Batman is just already coming out how problematic that really is. They just started the new script for the dynamic duo, which is going to be Nightwing and Robin, Jason Todd's Robin. I don't know if it's Jason Todd's Robin, actually. Don't quote me on that. Nightwing and Robin, though, dynamic duo. But it's it's a problem. We're running into it very early. They need to establish who Batman is. They need to establish Gotham. They need to establish Batman's side characters, because it's... Is this too much Superman already? You know, David Cornsweet obviously is phenomenal as Superman, but is this too much already? You know, I think so. This is maybe because I'm a James Gunn hater. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I do. I mean, I know I do, but like, I just feel bad saying these negative things over and over and over. But you know, it's confusing. It's really confusing. I don't know where I stand on everything. I'm like, it's weird how I still have hope for James Gunn's DCEU, and I'm still talking about it, you know? Like, I still have the passion for everything, but I just can't get over the fact that, like, you know? I haven't gone over Peacemaker quite yet, but like, you know, Creature Commandos was great. So we'll see. I'm not really sure. Another huge thing, I can't believe I almost spaced on this, was on that. So it was a tweet and an Instagram post. I primarily use Twitter. I don't really use anything else. On the Instagram post, James Gunn had two highlighted comments. It was Aaron Pierre's saying, like, yay. I don't remember what he said, truthfully, because that doesn't matter. Aaron Pierre, obviously, I talked about him earlier. Green Lantern, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan. But there was a second comment. And Grant Gustin put, I believe it was hearts, but it was liked by James Gunn. And like, dude, I haven't felt like this since I was like in 2015, 2016, and we were figuring out all these Marvel characters. Grant Gustin obviously plays Barry Allen in the CW's The Flash. Now, The Flash. Not Ezra Miller. Grant Gustin. You look at him and you think, that is my Barry Allen. That is my Flash. That is... And you know, I know that's in the CW, but Jason Momoa was Aquaman. Now he is Lobo. I don't know why we can't do it again. Let's do it again. Cast Grant Gustin as the Flash. Why not? Like, he's just the Flash. You see the Flash, you think of Grant Gustin. You see Grant Gustin, you just see the Flash. I mean, you hear, I'm Barry Allen and I'm the fastest man alive. That's Grant Gustin. Like, that's his voice. Like, I just said it out loud, but you heard Grant Gustin's voice when I said it right there. You know, obviously kidding, but like, it's just the right thing to do. There are characters who are played by actors and they can't ever be played again. Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Grant Gustin. Andrew Garfield. What? Who said that? Yeah. But like, we're back. Like, we're back, right? And so, again, I think it's very apparent the DCEU is lost. The DCEU doesn't know what they're doing. They need to get back on a track. They need to establish themselves, establish other characters, because what they have so far, I feel, isn't cutting it just yet. It's early, though. But it's early. They have so many plans to do so many other things, but everything keeps getting pushed back because they're Gotham things. and Gotham hasn't been established yet. Unless it has. Maybe Men of Tomorrow is what connects. If Matt Reeves is working on it, who's to say Pat Bat isn't in the universe? Who's to say that the Batman Part 2 is not a part of the DCEU? I would love to see it. I think I've seen so many TikTok edits of Superman and Batman. They're, the chemistry they would have, and just oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word. But they're perpendicular, like, ways of thinking and opposite. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. But it's just, they're lost. Just kind of like how I'm lost right now, kind of yapping. But we need to do something. I think it's very clear we need to do something. And on that note, speaking of lost, I'm going to talk about Peacemaker, episodes 2 and 3. Episode 2, I don't know. I think it was, and I'm going to try to keep everything spoiler free per usual. Maybe starting with episode 4, I'm going to start going into spoilers, see how I like getting into detail and talking about everything just a little bit better. But episode 2 was more fodder. Like, it was another episode where nothing mattered until the very last scene, and I don't want to say no, that's not true. Things did matter. It could have just been done so much better. As of right now, so like as of episode 3, half these characters still don't matter. I think the only important characters at the moment right now are Peacemaker, Rick Flag, obviously, and I couldn't even tell you the guy's name. He's funny, but Bird Blindness dude, the principal from Mean Girls. I actually should know his name. I'm actually, I love Mean Girls. Mr. Duvall by Tim Meadows. I apologize, Tim. But like, those feel like the only important characters. Even his characters that are his friends seem so irrelevant and out of the picture. And you can tell they are there because, obviously, oh my God, I can't even remember their names. That's so bad. Oh, I want to say it's James. Wow, I'm terrible. It's not even on here. John. It's John Economos. I'm talking about Economos. I feel like so far his character's only in there to introduce Tim's character as Bird Blindness dude. And yeah, it's not even on here. That's so bad. They seem so irrelevant. Wow. This is actually, I apologize for not being prepared, but flurry. It just goes to show, like, dude, IMDb doesn't even care. They had outside members above the main cast and crew, like, and that just, this right here was like a prime example of how lost we are in Peacemaker. Yeah, Burn Blindness is funny. It's cool. It's his only trait in the show. I'm not a fan so far as of episode 2. And then going into episode 3, I would say it's a much better episode. It was a watchable episode. I watched it and I didn't think, wow, I hate this show. Maybe that was because it had an actual heroic or anti-heroic scene where can't talk about it. I'm gonna do spoilers in episode 4 next week. But like, it's so, it was doing things that I cared about, that got my attention, that I was invested in, like, it wasn't just dialogue, because the dialogue in this show is very much like, they're making fun of each other, they're saying mean, horrible things, but it's funny, right? It's not that funny, but it's relying on that it's funny for it to matter. And yeah, like Hawthorne has her story on where she's just crashing out. She doesn't even know who, like, she has this idea of who she is in her head, but she's not who that person is. And she's lashing out on everyone else. Like, I don't care. Vigilante, just comedic relief in a comedy show. Like, his jokes are the funniest. The tarantula scene I thought was hilarious. But like, it was a better episode, and you could tell it's starting to gain direction. I just really wish I don't know. I don't want to blame James Gunn, but just the writing on this show is so poor. It's so bad. And I want to shout out my boy Nathan because he actually came up with this theory that the universe that they are in, and I could talk about this because I had talked about it in episode 1, but the universe that Chris or Peacemaker travels into is a universe where Nazis like have America. There are no colored people in Bloodhaven, which is supposed to be Nightwing's. You know, what if we get our first look at Nightwing in this show? I think that would be phenomenal. At the same time, I don't know if I'd be a fan with like the number one thing coming out of this show being we're talking about someone else. Taking a step back, Nathan has a theory that this is a Nazi-controlled world, and I think that's so cool. In the scene, the action scene that I was referring to, if you look in the background, there's not a single colored person. It is only white people. There are only white people everywhere. Obviously, Chris, Keith, and his dad, I just know him. It's weird that I don't know. The White Devil. I don't remember. The White Devil, you know? Like, that's right there. That's saying something. But they are, like, terrible people. Like, they're superheroes, but they're doing terrible things. And everyone around them is just like, congratulations. Like, you did it. So it's a good theory. I'm actually a little bit upset. I didn't notice it myself at first, but you know, it's getting better. With each episode, I would say it gets better. I think the dialogues need to have more purpose or the story needs to progress at a faster rate. And that's kind of where I'm just going to leave it at. Every episode is getting better, but I am still not a fan. Like, if I were to give this show a rating with the first 3 episodes so far, it would be like a 5.5, 6, somewhere in that range. I apologize. And yeah, I just kind of, I'm not sure. But with that being said, I do want to talk about the comic books of the week. I thought I was going to talk a little longer, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm just saying terrible things and I feel bad. I feel like I need to stop kind of speaking negative, especially when the last episode I had was just coming off of like K-pop Demon Hunters and Neja 2. And the whole episode is just saying like, these movies are going to win awards. These movies are phenomenal. They're amazing. And now I'm coming to this and I feel like I haven't said anything good. So I am going to talk about I brought 2 comic books this time. Technically, I owe you 3 because I missed last week. But here we are. Life happens. These are 2. They're not Marvel or DC, so get ready. Void Rivals. Rivals. Void Rivals by Robert Kirkman, who is the writer of Invincible. If you know me, you know Invincible. It's something we will talk about. It is something when season 4 comes out, every episode we will be doing a review. I love Invincible. Invincible is fantastic. Robert Kirkman is fantastic. Void Rivals is fantastic. It's about a world where two beings, 2 things, 2 creatures, 2 people. They're not human, but 2 beings. Their people are at war with each other and they get stuck on this world and they have to rely on each other to survive. It's a cosmic space opera where they're relying on one another for survival. It's something, it's original, it's fresh, I'm trying not to spoil this because this relies, I don't want to say nostalgia, but it uses characters that we all know. And I feel like that's kind of going to have to be how I rope you in, because I'm not going to tell you what characters those are. But it's Robert Kirkman, it's going to be it's going to be a epic, and it's just 2 people that don't like each other relying on each other. And that's the best I can tell you. So Void Rivals, there are several volumes out. I have volumes 1 and 2. I need to read volume 3, but I highly recommend So I'm going to put this one down. And then we have this one. So this one is special to me because it's completely original. It is completely never been done before. So I feel bad. I'm actually going to look this up real quick because I don't know who the author is. And on the cover of this, which I will show you in a second. So this was written by Kyle Higgins. I apologize. But on this cover, it says the perfect superhero comic for anyone missing Invincible, Robert Kirkman. So Robert Kirkman gave this, he said it's perfect, and it is. It is okay. I have been yapping. All the buts and ums have came back this episode, and maybe it's from me taking a week off. So I apologize for that. My lip is swollen from biting it. I will do better. It's like really bad. You don't care. Sorry. Radiant Black. Radiant Black is a completely original story. So it's about an everyday person. He's super depressed. He's not helping himself. He wants to be better, but he won't kind of like make the changes. And I feel like we relate to that. Like a lot of us, it's like all of us, most of us could look like our physically be our best, could mentally be our best, and we just need to make those changes, whether we quit fast food, whether we quit being on our phones so much, whether we get outside just a little bit more, go on that walk, go to the gym, go on a run, a lot of us could be better and we don't make those changes because we kind of make excuses for ourselves. It'd be like, what if, and then you get superpowers. That's what this is about. It is very, very dark, though. This is a very dark comic. I love it. And I don't know how to explain it other than it's dark. Not the illustration. The illustrations, yeah. Why are words so hard for me today? The illustration and the panels in this are phenomenal. You can tell this is someone who, this is their life's work. Kyle Higgins, this is his magnum opus, and it looks fantastic. I kind of want to get some parallel where I could show you panel, but it's just so good. Like, I'm kind of just going to leave you with this. It looks phenomenal. It looks absolutely fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. Radiant Black and Void Rivals. Check them out. If you need it, let me know. I can give my... people read all my stuff all the time. I'm happy to help support any and all comic book writings, that I have read. And I kind of wanted to talk about a couple more things, but I think it's best for me in my word vomit today to just kind of wrap this up and not waste your time much longer. So I'm just going to kind of get into what we're talking about next week. Next week, we are going to be watching Demon Slayer, the Infinity Castle movie. I will be watching that and reviewing it. We have Stephen King's The Long Walk. I will be watching that and reviewing it. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes already. Super excited for that. I will be going over my MCU least favorite 5 movies because I feel like there are going to be some hot takes on there. I will be rewatching every single movie to make sure this is my list, So bear with me. This is going to be a long week for me. And get ready to hear me say some more negative things, but The Long Walk will be hopefully be positive because 100% Stephen King has already talked about it. And he told them too, he had to make some changes, and I'll talk about that next week. Demon Slayer, the Infinity Castle, you can't mess that up. I've seen what they've done. It would be impossible for me to not like this movie. So no matter what, I'm at this was a good movie. Can it be great? Can it be perfect? I'll let you know next week. And then I'm going to be going over my top 5 animes of all time because I had that requested by my friend. A couple other people have talked about it, I'm recently started watching anime again. I kind of took a couple of years off where I stopped watching. I read for a long time and then I stopped reading manga. I stopped watching anime, kind of left a lot of that Japanese culture behind because I was reading other books like the Sanderson series, the Red Rising series. And super important that I kind of like, not important, but like, like it's a part of who I am and I'm happy to be getting back into it. And I think it's a perfect time for me to kind of talk about what I love and yeah. And then I'm going to be going over my game of the year predictions because I love video games. I play video games. Hollow Knight Silksong just came out and it's a contender. Is it my game of the year pick? I don't know, but I'm really excited. And I think next week too, I'm going to be reviewing To Be Hero X, which is a new anime series. Hopefully it'll be done by the time I'm halfway through it right now, but it is an anime I thought worth reviewing on here. So that says something. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to me word vomit. I know there were a lot of buts, a lot of ums, and thank you for sticking it through, getting to the end. I appreciate you guys more than you know, especially because I feel like I've developed my little community that have reached out to me and like, hey, you good? Making sure I appreciate that. Peace and love always.